Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. My name is Emma, and I am really happy to be here with you today. This is a friendly podcast for English learners. We always use easy words and short sentences so everyone can follow along. Today, we have a very important topic. We are going to talk about overthinking. This means thinking too much about things. I think many people do this, including me. It can make us feel stressed and tired. I am here with my wonderful friend Alex. Hi, Alex. Are you ready to talk about overthinking today?
Hi, Emma. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex, and yes, I am absolutely ready. I think this is one of the most important topics we have ever talked about on this podcast. Overthinking is a very common problem. So many people think too much about small things, big things, past things, and future things. It makes life harder than it needs to be. I used to overthink a lot myself, so I know exactly how it feels. Today, Emma and I will talk about why we overthink and what we can do to stop. I hope this helps you. Let's begin.
Okay, let's start with a simple question. What is overthinking exactly? I think some people hear this word and are not sure what it means. Overthinking means thinking about something too much and for too long. For example, you send a message to a friend and they don't reply quickly. A normal person thinks, maybe they are busy. But an overthinker thinks, did I say something wrong? Are they angry at me? Do they not like me anymore? You think about it again and again. It takes up a lot of your time and energy. Alex, does this sound familiar to you?
Yes, Emma, that example sounds very familiar to me. I think most people can relate to that feeling. Overthinking can happen in many situations. It can happen before a big decision. You think about all the possible things that can go wrong. It can also happen after something has already happened. You replay the event in your mind and think, why did I say that? I should have said something different. This is called rumination, which means thinking about the same thing over and over. It doesn't help you solve anything. It just makes you feel worse. Overthinking is like a washing machine for your thoughts. It just keeps spinning.
I love that comparison, Alex. A washing machine for your thoughts. That is so perfect. I think it is important to understand why we overthink. One big reason is that we want to feel safe and in control. We think that if we think about something enough, we can prevent bad things from happening. But this is not true. We cannot control everything in life, no matter how much we think. Another reason is fear. We are afraid of making mistakes or making the wrong choice. So we think and think, hoping to find the perfect answer. But often, perfect answers don't exist, and thinking too long just makes us more confused and more anxious.
That's a really important point, Emma. We overthink because we want to feel safe, but it actually makes us feel less safe. I also think social situations cause a lot of overthinking. For example, before a meeting or a party, many people think, what will I say? What if I say something stupid? What if nobody talks to me? These thoughts come before the event even starts. And after the event, the overthinking continues. Did I talk too much? Was I boring? Did people like me? This kind of thinking is very exhausting. It makes social life feel very stressful, even when nothing bad actually happened.
Social overthinking is so real, Alex. I do this too sometimes. I replay conversations in my head and worry about small things I said. Now, let's talk about what happens to our body and mind when we overthink too much. Overthinking is not just a mental problem. It affects our body too. When we think too much, our body feels stressed. Our heart beats faster, our muscles become tight, and we might feel tired even if we haven't done anything physical. Overthinking also makes it very hard to sleep at night. Your mind just keeps running, even when your body wants to rest. This is a very common problem.
Yes, the sleep problem is huge, Emma. So many people lie in bed at night and cannot stop thinking. Their mind is still very active when it should be resting. This poor sleep then makes the next day harder, which leads to more overthinking. It becomes a cycle that is hard to break. Overthinking can also cause anxiety and even depression if it continues for a long time. So it is really important to address this problem. It is not just a small habit or a personality type. Overthinking is something that can seriously affect your quality of life, your health, and your happiness every single day.
That's so true, Alex. Overthinking can really take over your life if you don't do something about it. So now let's talk about solutions. What can we actually do to stop overthinking? I think the first step is to notice when you are doing it. Many people don't even realize they are overthinking. They just feel stressed or anxious without knowing why. So the first step is awareness. When you notice that you are thinking about the same thing again and again, tell yourself, I am overthinking right now. Just naming it can help. It creates a small distance between you and your thoughts. You start to observe your thoughts instead of being trapped inside them.
Awareness is such a powerful first step, Emma. Once you notice you are overthinking, you can start to do something about it. One simple technique is to ask yourself a question. Is this thought helpful? If the thought helps you solve a problem or take action, then it is useful. But if the thought just goes in circles and doesn't lead anywhere, it is not helpful. When you realize a thought is not helpful, you can gently let it go. You don't need to fight it or argue with it. Just notice it and then choose to focus on something else. This is easier said than done, but practice really helps.
I like that question. Is this thought helpful? It's so simple but very powerful. Another technique I want to talk about is setting a worry time. This sounds a little strange, but it works very well for many people. The idea is simple. You choose one specific time during the day, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and you allow yourself to worry during that time only. When a worried thought comes to you outside of this time, you say to yourself, I will think about this during my worry time later. This way, you don't ignore your worries completely, but you also don't let them take over your whole day.
I have actually tried the worry time technique, Emma, and it really does work. At first, it feels a little silly to schedule your worry time, but it helps your brain know that worries will be heard, just not right now. Another very useful technique is deep breathing. When you notice you are overthinking, stop and take 3 slow, deep breaths. Breathe in slowly through your nose, hold for a moment, and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. This simple action tells your body that everything is okay. It calms your nervous system and slows down your racing thoughts. It works quickly, and you can do it anywhere, anytime.
Deep breathing is so easy and so powerful. I use this myself, and it really helps. I also want to talk about physical movement. When we are stuck in our heads thinking too much, moving our body can help bring us back to the present moment. Going for a walk, doing some stretching, dancing, or even cleaning the house can help. When you focus on what your body is doing, your mind has less space for worried thoughts. Exercise also produces happy chemicals in the brain, which naturally reduces anxiety and stress. So next time you are overthinking, try getting up and moving your body. Even 5 minutes can make a real difference.
Movement is such a great tool against overthinking, Emma. I always feel better after a short walk when my thoughts are getting too loud. I also want to mention writing. Writing down your thoughts is a very helpful way to deal with overthinking. When thoughts are in your head, they feel big and chaotic. But when you write them down on paper, they become smaller and clearer. You can see them more objectively. Sometimes, after writing your worries down, you realize they are not as scary as they seemed in your mind. Keeping a journal is a great habit for people who overthink. Even writing just 5 minutes a day can really help.
I love journaling, Alex. Writing really does help organize the mind. Another thing that helps a lot is talking to someone you trust. When we keep our thoughts inside our head, they grow bigger and scarier. But when we talk to a friend, family member, or someone we trust, it helps us see the situation more clearly. The other person can offer a different perspective. They might say, I don't think that's as bad as you think. And sometimes just saying your worries out loud makes them sound less serious. So please, don't keep everything inside. Talk to someone. You don't need to solve everything alone.
Talking to someone is so important, Emma. A good friend can really help us see things differently. I also want to talk about a common trap that overthinkers fall into. It is called what-if thinking. Overthinkers ask what-if questions constantly. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if something goes wrong? These questions take us into an imaginary future that hasn't happened yet. And usually, what we imagine is much worse than what actually happens in real life. When you notice what-if thinking, try to replace it with what is. Focus on what is real and happening right now, not on imaginary future problems.
What if thinking is so exhausting? I do this all the time, Alex. Replacing it with what is a great idea. I also want to talk about accepting uncertainty. One of the main reasons we overthink is that we cannot accept that life is uncertain. We want to know exactly what will happen, but we never can. Successful, happy people learn to be comfortable with uncertainty. They understand that not knowing the future is normal and okay. When you accept that you cannot control everything, the need to overthink becomes smaller. You start to trust yourself more. You believe that whatever happens, you will be able to handle it.
Accepting uncertainty is such a mature and freeing mindset, Emma. It is not easy, but it is so worth practicing. I want to also mention perfectionism. Many overthinkers are also perfectionists. They think they must make the perfect decision, say the perfect words, or do the perfect job. But perfectionism creates a lot of pressure and anxiety. Nothing in life is perfect. When you let go of perfectionism and accept that good enough is okay, you stop overthinking so much. You make a decision, move forward, and trust that you can handle any small mistakes that come along the way. Progress is more important than perfection.
Letting go of perfectionism is so freeing, Alex. I used to be a big perfectionist, and it caused so much stress. Now I tell myself, done is better than perfect. It helps a lot. I also want to mention mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment. When we overthink, our mind is usually in the past or the future, not in the present. Mindfulness brings us back to right now. You can practice mindfulness by focusing on what you see, hear, smell, or feel right now. For example, feel the ground under your feet, or notice the sounds around you. This simple practice pulls your attention away from overthinking.
Mindfulness is a beautiful practice, Emma. It sounds simple, but it can really change how you experience life. I want to also mention limiting the time you spend making decisions. Overthinkers often spend too much time on small decisions. What should I eat? What should I wear? What should I say in this message? These small decisions don't need a lot of time. Try giving yourself a time limit for decisions. For small things, decide in 30 seconds. For medium things, give yourself 1 day. For big things, take 1 week. Having a time limit stops you from going around and around in circles without ever deciding anything.
Time limits for decisions are such a practical idea, Alex. I really need to use this more. Another thing I want to mention is distracting yourself in a healthy way. Sometimes the best thing you can do is stop trying to solve a problem and just do something enjoyable. Watch a funny video, listen to your favorite music, cook something you love, or call a friend for a laugh. This gives your brain a rest. And very often, after you stop thinking about a problem and relax, the answer comes to you naturally. Our brain actually works better when it is not under pressure. Relaxing is not wasting time. It is helpful.
Healthy distraction is so underrated, Emma. I think many people feel guilty about taking a break, but it is actually very helpful for your brain. I also want to talk about gratitude again because I think it is so powerful for overthinkers specifically. When you are overthinking, your mind is focused on problems and fears. Gratitude shifts your focus to good things. When you feel a worried thought coming, try thinking of 3 things you are grateful for right now. This doesn't erase the problem, but it changes your mental state. A grateful mind is harder for overthinking to take over. Gratitude and anxiety cannot easily exist at the same time.
Gratitude is such a powerful tool. I completely agree, Alex. Now I want to talk about something important, knowing when to get professional help. Sometimes overthinking is so serious that it becomes a real anxiety disorder. When overthinking prevents you from living your normal life, when it affects your work, your relationships, or your sleep very badly every day, it may be time to talk to a professional. A therapist or counselor can give you personalized tools and support. There is no shame in asking for help. Getting help is actually a very strong and brave thing to do. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health.
That is such an important message, Emma. Please don't be afraid or ashamed to seek professional help if you need it. Mental health is health, full stop. I also want to share a quick summary of all the tips we talked about today. Notice when you are overthinking. Ask if the thought is helpful. Try the worry time technique. Practice deep breathing. Move your body. Write in a journal. Talk to someone you trust. Avoid what-if thinking. Accept uncertainty. Let go of perfectionism. Practice mindfulness. Set time limits for decisions. Use healthy distraction. Practice gratitude. And seek professional help if needed. These are all great tools.
That is a wonderful summary, Alex. So many useful tools in one conversation. I want to remind our listeners of one final, very important idea. You cannot stop all your thoughts. Thoughts will always come. The goal is not to have 0 thoughts or 0 worries. The goal is to not let those thoughts control you. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are just visitors in your mind. You can notice them and then let them leave without following them. With practice, you become stronger than your overthinking.
It takes time and patience, but it is absolutely possible. You can train your brain to think in a calmer, healthier way.
I love that, Emma. You are not your thoughts. That is such a powerful and freeing idea. And now I think it is time to wrap up today's wonderful conversation. Today we talked about what overthinking is, why we do it, how it affects our body and mind, and most importantly, many practical ways to stop it. I really hope that every listener today feels a little more equipped to deal with their own overthinking. Remember, you don't need to change everything at once. Pick one small tip from today and try it tomorrow. Just one. Small steps lead to big changes over time, and you are already doing great by learning.
Thank you so much, Alex, for this incredible conversation today. It was so helpful and full of great ideas. And a massive thank you to all our amazing listeners for spending this time with us. You chose to listen and learn today, and that is already a step in the right direction. If you struggle with overthinking, please be gentle and patient with yourself. Change takes time, and that is perfectly okay. Don't forget to follow our podcast for more easy and helpful English conversations every week. Share this episode with someone who thinks too much. Take care of your mind, take care of yourself, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Emma, and thank you to every single person who listened today. This topic is very close to my heart because I know how hard overthinking can be. But I also know that change is possible because I have experienced it myself. Please believe that you can think more calmly and live more freely. It just takes practice and a little courage. Try one tip from today, starting tomorrow morning. Notice your thoughts, breathe deeply, and be kind to yourself. You deserve a peaceful mind. Please leave us a comment and tell us which tip you want to try first. We love hearing from you. Goodbye for now, and take good care.